The Modern Warfare MP5 is back inside Warzone, and I was using it inside this game of Rebirth just to give you an idea of what you can do with the MP5. I probably could have just as easily have made this video about this ground loot AMP because this is my favourite ground loot weapon inside Warzone at the moment. If you enjoy Warzone gameplay content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers over here. And also, if you've not checked out our main channel yet, make sure you go ahead and check that out as well. And the class setup for the Krig and the MP5 I was using in this gameplay is at the end of the video. So if you want to skip to that, you absolutely can. But let's talk about the gameplay here. So first of all, these are two separate wins we got back-to-back inside Rebirth. Rebirth or limited time modes are the only modes you should be playing right now because Verdansk is not playable with the hacker problem. We tried playing 3 games of Verdansk and in all 3 games we died to hackers, so it's just not something that you want to be doing when you jump on to play Warzone for a couple of hours. So like I said, make sure you're playing Rebirth. We've had back-to-back wins every time we've played, which is definitely handy to make sure you have a decent squad. Now near the end of both gameplays we whip out the MP5 build, and that is where you'll see it perform well. But in the meantime, I do just want to talk about this AMP. This AMP is so good as ground loot inside Warzone right now, and it's because its TTK is actually one of the best inside the game when it comes to fully automatic weapons in general. So if you're looking for something to replace your SMG just doesn't hit hard enough, try the AMP. It basically feels like a mini AS-Val. If someone told you could get an AS-Val with 5 less bullets, with Ghost, and it actually had better movement, you would obviously take that. And that is basically what the AMP is right now. It's such a good weapon to use, and like I said, it's better than most of the SMGs now. Now, of course, as you can see in my loadout here, I'm running the Krig as well, and for the longest time, I didn't like using the Krig, but also on top of that, I didn't like using long-range weapons inside Rebirth. I would always opt to go for 2 close-range options. One would be a close-range assault rifle, and one would be a close-range SMG. But just considering the amount of people using sniper rifles inside Rebirth right now, I just thought it'd be a good idea to try out my Verdansk loadout inside Rebirth. And the Krig also performed really well. Now, there's some situations where I lost gunfights because I had the wrong weapon out. Now, I've not played Warzone in over a week just because of the hacker issue, and that is why I'm not performing as best as I could be, and some gunfights I'll lose where I probably shouldn't have. But like I said, both of these guns are incredible. Now, if I can use them and do well, most people can. That's another really good thing about this loadout. It's such an easy loadout to use. Most people know how to use the Modern Warfare MP5. And then the Krig, like I said, has pretty much 0 recoil if you use the class setup that we're using in this video. Now, in this section of the gameplay, something I did very stupidly. I knew they were both there, but I switched to my MP5 thinking that I would run out of ammo on my Krig. But I actually had 50 bullets still left on my Krig, and if I shot this guy with the Krig, I would have won that gunfight for sure. But the issue was I'm so used to using guns like the Farah that run out of ammo really quickly, and the damage per mag on the Krig is so good that I didn't actually have to switch weapons there. I could have carried on firing my Krig and would have actually won that gunfight without going down at all. But it's just something I had to get used to when using the Krig because, like I said, the damage per mag on that gun is actually so good. Now here we kind of find ourselves in a tough spot at the moment. We know the enemies are above us. We're kind of trying to wait until they move. And we all need to move now because the gas is going to start pushing. And eventually they do start moving in behind us as well. As my teammate's slightly behind, and I hear this guy gliding down, so I shoot him with the Krig and beam this guy so easily. Then I shoot this guy as well. He manages to get more shots on me, and this is where the MP5 performs extremely well. You can hip fire straight away and then aim down sights, and you've already landed a few bullets with your MP5. And that is exactly where the Modern Warfare weapons do better than the Cold War counterparts. If you look for an SMG from Cold War, you're mainly looking at the strafing speeds and the overall movement speed. But when it comes to Modern Warfare weapons, the insane hipfire you get is ridiculous when it comes to the MP5, and also the MP7 is pretty good as well. So as you can see here, I'm taking tons of damage, don't have a gas mask. My only play is just to stay alive here. My teammate is taking some damage as well. I'm trying to stay cautious of that because I don't want him to go down. There's only 2 of us left here. My only play is this ladder is literally all I've got at the moment. I have to take some damage to get up here. And now my teammate goes down, and luckily he managed to take out most of the other team, and I finish up the final kill. Now, even though people respawn and rebirth quite a lot, it's kind of hard to get a lot of kills in this game mode because there's not a lot of people in the map in the first place. And here again, you see me just using this AMP and destroying people so easily. I feel like this is going to be like a go-to loadout weapon, especially inside solos, because you can absolutely fry people with this if you know how to use it correctly. Sharing is caring at this point. Teammate needs armor plates. You drop the armor plates. It's pretty straightforward. Nothing crazy there. And now we're just kind of searching for more people to kill inside this building. As you see, we tend to land in the same place over and over again. You kind of find out how people play inside certain buildings. And if you do play those buildings continuously, then of course you know how people play around them and you know what the best jump spots are and all that kind of stuff. So it's good to get used to a certain landing spot. This guy was completely camping. I didn't even realize he was there. Lucky I had the C58 because that actually fries as well right now if you land a headshot or two. And we managed to clean up that guy pretty easily. He was just camping more or less. Like I said, this gameplay could have been all about this AMP here. As you can see, as long as you time your shots, don't fire when you don't have to, you can actually fry people with this ground loot AMP. It's actually insanely good. The only issues is mag capacity, of course, and that's why it's tough to recommend for an actual loadout. But as you can see here, I'm winning most of my gunfights with this weapon. And here I pick up a ground loot Krig, and this ground loot Krig is actually pretty decent too. It's good for long range gunfights because you do get a decent barrel and attachments, and again, frying people with the AMP. Now it's good to keep on the move whilst you're plating up, because if someone starts pushing you, then you've still got the upper hand because you're still moving around. You can still dodge some bullets. At this point, I did hear something upstairs, so that's why I'm pushing up. I didn't know exactly where this guy was. And again, I fry him with the AMP, but I run out of bullets. So I just fired the last bullet off there. This guy was pretty decent, but I already had him damaged. So I'm just going to hit fire with the Krig and just see where I go from there. Then we're pushing off into endgame here now, and we're basically pushing this team. And it was a tough fight because we had to climb these ladders, get up there. I managed to down one. Then he downed me, then we got rezzed. And at this point, we're pushing into this building now. It's endgame. I don't know, for some reason to me, going for the free loadout inside Rebirth is like a suicide mission. The only way you can get your loadouts is if you buy it at the start of a game. Other than that, you might as well stick with the ground loot weapons you have because they're more than good enough for Rebirth. At this point, I take the eye off the ball here. I'm turning around trying to drop ammo instead of clearing out the area first. And luckily my teammates killed this guy because it was just one guy. And I steal the MP5, of course, because I need to get my gameplay. So I'm using the MP5 again. This is not even my build.
We're back.
Now there's only one or two guys left here, and we're just kind of trying to figure out where they are. I should have picked up the heartbeat sensor thinking about it now, but there's three of us, there's two of them. We know that we're most likely going to win this now, and my teammate just pushes the door straight open and runs straight through it. Probably not the best thing to do, but like I said, it didn't really matter because we did have the numbers advantage here. And this was the second to last guy. And my teammate was fighting the last guy. And like I said, it didn't really matter who died or went down there because there was already all three of us. So here is the loadout we were using for this Rebirth gameplay. Now, for the Krig class, I was using the agency suppressor for the sound suppression, recoil control, bullet velocity, and damage range. The barrel on the Krig I was using was the Ranger barrel, not the mil-spec barrel. If you've watched the video on our main channel, we show you the bullet velocity as well as the recoil control benefits that you get with the Ranger barrel, and that's more than good enough, especially inside Rebirth. That doesn't really matter too much. You can always even go for no barrel at all, but we went for the Ranger in this case. Then for the underbarrel, you do want to use the field agent grip to control the recoil as best as possible. For ammunition, we went for the 60 round mags, and then the optic, we went for the axial 3x optic. This is personal preference. You can go for the Royal and Cross 4x, but it no longer helps with recoil in some cases anyway. But this was the build we were using for the Krig overall. Then for the MP5, we were using the regular monolithic suppressor for the sound suppression as well as the damage range. You can actually also go for the monolithic integral suppressor. Both are very similar and they do the exact same thing. I just prefer the monolithic suppressor. Then I was using the Merc foregrip for the hipfire accuracy and recoil control. Ammunition, you need to use the 45 round mags. You need the larger magazine capacity. Then stock, I was going for no stock for the faster movement speed. And then lastly, I usually go for either sleight of hand, but in the gameplay, I was using the 5mW laser for the even better hipfire accuracy. For perks, I was using EOD, overkill, and amped, throwing knives, and stun grenades. Now, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and click that link and subscribe to our main channel as well. And thank you very much for watching.